Welcome back to the Loreverse, and today we are diving into one of the most complicated father-son relationships in all of fantasy, Tyrion Lannister and Tywin Lannister. Now, on the surface, they look like opposites. Tywin is cold and towering, Tyrion is witty and compassionate, Tywin is feared, and Tyrion is mocked. But when you dig into both the show and the books, the truth hits hard. Tyrion is actually far more like Tywin than anyone, especially Tywin himself, ever wanted to admit. Now, welcome to the Loreverse. Let's break down the political moves, the psychological roots, and the canon moments that reveal how Tyrion might be Tywin's true heir in the ways that matter most. Now, in the books and the show, Tywin constantly claims Tyrion is not worthy of the Lannister name. But everything Tywin says about legacy, leadership, and the qualities an heir must have, Tyrion actually has those traits. If we are going by the book, right, Tywin rebuilt House Lannister after his father nearly destroyed it. He believes strength, discipline, and strategy are what sustains a house, and he wants an heir who thinks and plans on a grand scale. And if we go by the show lore, right, Tyrion is the one who doesn't think like Cersei or Jaime. Jaime prefers honor and physical skill. Cersei thinks she's Tywin, but she's emotionally impulsive, and that's really her drive, and she's super reckless. Tyrion is the only Lannister child who can balance long-term political strategy with immediate tactical decisions. Tyrion is Tywin's mind and a body Tywin despises, and that's the tragedy. Because Tywin is blinded by Tyrion's appearance, something both mediums stress. In the book, Tywin says, "Men's laws give you the right to bear my name, but neither gods nor men will ever compel me to love you." And in the show, he says, "You are an ill-made, spiteful little creature." The man who values competence above all things refuses to see competence when it's right in front of him. And Tywin's entire ruling philosophy is fear. If we think about the sack of King's Landing, right? These are moves that define someone like Tywin. And Tyrion uses fear too, just weaponizes the idea of consequences instead of open brutality. Here's an example. If we go by the show, think about this. Threatening the city watch, standing up to Joffrey, and making the nobles fear punishment if they abandon the city during Blackwater. Here's some examples in the book. Tyrion's chain during the Battle of Blackwater, a brutal Tywin-level tactical move. His psychological war with Cersei, turning the clans of the Vale into his private army. Poisoning the river during Blackwater. His entire game with Varys and Pycelle and Marcella. These are moves Tywin would respect because they're strategic, efficient, and send a message. Tyrion simply prefers controlled, targeted fear over Tywin's scorched earth fear. But it's the same philosophy. People follow you because they don't want to cross you. And Tywin has no moral compass. He has outcomes. And Tyrion, despite being the empathetic Lannister, also uses a flexible morality whenever pushed. Now, let's list some shared traits that they have. They both believe family survival comes first. Tywin destroys houses. Tyrion forces Sansa into marriage to strengthen alliances. They both kill when the emotional cost becomes greater than the moral one. Tywin allows innocent people to suffer to keep power. Tyrion kills Shay and Tywin in moments of emotional breaking and political desperation. And the third thing is that they both justify almost anything when power, survival, when justice is involved. And here's some book stuff that if you guys want to get into that too, right? Tyrion's time in Essos is darker than the show. He drinks poisons, he plots, and he manipulates constantly. He even says outright, "I'm my father's son. Do you hear me?" And the books make the comparison blatant. Tyrion becomes more Tywin-like the more the world hurts him. And Tyrion's intelligence isn't random or comedic. It's Tywin's intelligence, but softened. See, both men understand human nature better than anyone around them. They both read political motives instantly, and they both manipulate people's expectations. They also thrive in hostile environments, and they are very underestimated until it's too late. And here's some parallel examples. If we're talking about Tywin, this dude plays Ares like a freaking fiddle. He forces alliances through marriages, and he controls the realm through fear and efficiency. If we think about Tyrion, he outsmarts Cersei repeatedly. He outsmarts Littlefinger during the marriage plot guessing game. He balances Varys and Pycelle's secrets. He saves King's Landing with strategy, not strength. He even negotiates Daenerys' counsel with Westerosi logic she hasn't heard before. In the books, Tyrion is even sharper. He negotiates with slavers, pirates, sellswords, and courts across Essos, using the exact same political instincts that Tywin used in frickin' Westeros. And here is the most overlooked similarity. Tywin wasn't respected growing up, and he rose from humiliation. His father was mocked, and House Lannister was seen as a soft, weak, and laughable house, and Tywin rebuilt the house through sheer will. Tyrion also grows up as an outsider, mocked, ignored, and underestimated, but instead of breaking, he becomes sharper. And we know in the books that Tyrion's chapters, right, it shows constant internal calculation. He studies people, he studies power, he studies his enemies, just like Tywin had to do during his rise. Both men turn pain into power. Tywin becomes a ruthless lord, and Tyrion becomes a political genius. They are forged in the same fire, just at different scales. And this is the twist that ties everything together. Tyrion isn't Tywin's opposite. Tyrion is Tywin's evolution. Tywin's strategy, Tywin's intelligence, Tywin's political instincts, and Tywin's survival mindset, but with compassion, self-awareness, love, humanity, and emotional intelligence. Everything Tywin lacked, Tyrion possesses. Everything Tywin valued, Tyrion actually embodies. And everything Tywin feared that Tyrion could prove him wrong, it happened. Tyrion is Tywin's greatest legacy, and Tywin died refusing to accept that. So when we look at the lore from both the show and the books, it becomes almost undeniable that Tyrion is more like Tywin than anyone else in the family. But he's the version Tywin couldn't be. The version shaped by pain, but softened by empathy. And that's what makes their story one of the most tragic and complex father-son relationships in fantasy. If you want more Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire deep dives, let me know what character or house you want next. Please like the video, subscribe, stay crispy, and peace out, y'all.